Use TFTP, Flash, and USB to manage configuration files. Use this topology. In my case, I will connect the PCA directly to R1. I am not using a switch. Addressing table, R1 interface, gigabit, IP address subnet mask, PCA, IP address subnet mask, default gateway. Cisco networking devices are often upgraded or swapped out for a number of reasons. It is important to maintain backups of the latest device configurations, as well as a history of configuration changes. A TFTP server is often used to backup configuration files and iOS images in production networks. In addition to a TFTP server, most of the current Cisco routers can backup and restore files locally from compact flash, CF memory, or a USB flash drive. The compact flash is a removable memory module that has replaced the limited internal flash memory of earlier router models. The iOS image for the router resides in the compact flash memory, and the router uses this iOS image for the boot process. With the larger size of the compact flash memory, additional files can be stored for backup purposes. A removable USB flash drive can also be used for backup purposes. You will use TFTP server software to backup the Cisco device running configuration to the TFTP server. You can edit the file using a text editor and copy the new configuration back to a Cisco device. Required resources for real app: one router 4221. In my case, I'm using 2111, 2911. Switch: I will not use a switch. One PC, console cables, Ethernet cables, USB flash drive. Build a network and configure basic device settings. Cable the network as shown in the topology. Attach the devices as shown in the topology diagram, and cable is necessary. Configure basic settings for the router. Use Teraterm serial COM21 in my case, may vary. Okay. Setup. Enter. Would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? No. Enter. Configure basic settings for the router. Assign a device name. Enter. Enable configure terminal hostname R1. Disable DNS lookup. No IP domain lookup. Assign class as the privileged exec encrypted password. Enable secret class. Cisco as the console password. Line console 0. Password Cisco. Enable login. Cisco BTY password. Enable login. Line BTY 0 to 15. Password Cisco. login, encrypt plaintext passwords, exit, service, password, encryption, create banner, message of the day, unauthorized access is prohibited. Unauthorized access is prohibited. Enter. Configure interfaces as listed in the table above. R1 gigabit 001. In my case is gigabit 01. Only 01. Okay. Interface gigabit 01 because this is a router 2911. So the IP address 192.168.1.1 subnet mask and not shut down to enable the interface. Okay, gigabit 01, change it, state to up, line protocol, change it, state to up, enter, and save running configuration to startup configuration, enter, and copy running config to startup dash config, enter, enter to confirm. Okay. Configure basic settings for the switch. I am not using a switch. Verify connectivity from PCA. Ping from PCA to router R1. Okay, the IP address of PCA is 192.168.1.3. 192.168.1.3. One 192.168.1.3, subnet mask 24, default gateway 192.168.1.1. And verify ipconfig. This is the IP address subnet mask default gateway. Ping the router 11, enter success. If the pings are not successful, troubleshoot. Use TFTP to backup and restore the switch running configuration. Verify connectivity to switch S1 from PCA. In my case, I will use router R1 from PCA. The TFTP application uses the UDP layer 4 transport protocol, which is encapsulated in an IP packet. For TFTP file transfers to function, there must be layer 1 and layer 2, Ethernet in this case, and layer 3 IP connectivity between the TFTP client and the TFTP server. The LAN topology in this lab uses only Ethernet at layers 1 and 2. However, TFTP transfers can also be accomplished over WAN links that use other layer 1 physical links and layer 2 protocols, as long as there is IP connectivity between the client and server, as demonstrated by ping. The TFTP transfer can take place. If the pings are not successful, troubleshoot the basic device configuration before continuing. A common misconception is that you can TFTP a file over the console connection. This is not the case because the console connection does not use IP. The TFTP transfer can be initiated from the client device, router, or switch using the console connection. but there must be IP connectivity between the client and server for the file transfer to take place. Start the TFTP server. Start the TFTP program on PCA. Ensure that the TFTP program is using a directory that you have write permission for, such as a folder on your desktop. Okay, go to VirtualBox. Select Ubuntu Server 2004 TFTPD HPA. Go to Settings. On Network, be sure you are using the bridged adapter and select the interface connected to the router. In my case, the gigabit interface connected to the router, the physical interface. And on Advanced, be sure this cable is connected. Okay, and start. Okay, and explore the copy command on Cisco device. Console into R1 and from privilege exec mode prompt, enter copy and question mark to display the options for source or from location and other available copy options. Okay, copy and question mark space. You can see you can specify flash or flash 0 as the source. If you simply provide the file name as the source, flash 0 is assumed that is the default. Running config is also an option for the source location. Okay, copy and the source can be flash running config, startup config, TFTP, and any and more options. Use the question mark to display the destination options after a source file location is chosen. The flash file system for S1 is the source file system in this example. Okay, and select, for example, flash column. This flash will be the source, and for destination, question mark. And these are the options: flash, FTP, HTTP, running config, startup config. And the destination can be TFTP. Transfer the running config file from the router R1 to TFTP server on PCA. From the privilege exec mode on the router, enter the copy running config to TFTP and provide the remote host address of the TFTP server, PCA, 192.168.169 in my case. Okay, this server has the IP address by default 192.168.169. Press enter to accept the default destination file name or provide your own file name. Okay, the source will be running config -config space, and the destination will be the TFTP server column. Okay, copy from the source running config to destination TFTP server. Enter. Address or name of the remote host, the TFTP address 192.168.169. Destination file name. This is the default R1 confg. Okay. Press enter to accept the default destination file name. r1confg, or provide your own file name. I will specify a custom file name, for example, r1 dash runconf, r1 dash run dash conf, where r1 is the hostname. Okay, enter. Okay, 1324 bytes copied. Success. The exclamation marks indicate the transfer process is in progress and is successful. Exclamation marks, success. The TFTP server may also display transfer progress. If you don't have permissions to write to the current directory that is used by the TFTP server, the following error message displays. Try to copy running config to TFTP, enter the IP address of the TFTP server, and error opening, permission denied. Other issues, such as a firewall blocking TFTP traffic, can prevent the TFTP transfer. Please check with your instructor for further assistance. Check the directory on the TFTP server, usually the default directory for the TFTP server software, to verify that the file was transferred successfully. Okay, go to TFTP server, enter, and log in TFTPD user, enter. Password TFTPD user, enter. And to verify, list the following directory. List the TFTPD user. Okay, slash TFTPD user, this directory. And here you can see r1-run-conf file. Okay, r1-run-conf. Very good. Create a modified router running configuration file. The saved running configuration file, in my case, is r1-run-conf, can also be restored to the router by using the copy command from the router. The original or modified version of the file can be copied to the flash file system of the router. Navigate to TFTP directory on PCA by using the file system of PCA, and then locate the r1-run-conf file. Open this file using a text editor program such as WordPad. Okay. In this server, you can modify the file. You can edit the file r1-run-conf. Use Vim editor or Nano editor. I will use Vim. Vim/tftpd user. This is the directory, and on this directory, open the following file r1-run-conf. Okay, case sensitive. Then enter, and this is the file. Very good. With the file open, locate the hostname r1 line. Replace r1 with router1. Okay, to make changes, press I key. Press I key. Now you are on insert mode here. You can see here insert mode. Once you are on insert mode, you can modify the file and locate hostname R1 and change this to router1. Delete all the self-generated crypto keys is necessary. A sample of the keys is displayed below. These keys are not exportable and can cause errors while updating the running configuration. Okay, remove any crypto key. Okay, here no crypto keys. Okay, on a switch you will have a crypto keys. In this case, no crypto keys. Save this file as a plain text file with a new file name. For example, router1 run conf. Okay, say save with a new name, a new file name. Okay, but you can notice enable secret. This password is class but is encrypted. Okay, this password is class but is encrypted. And don't worry about this, because this line will be detected as an encrypted line, as an encrypted password. And your enable secret password still will be class. The same way with line console. This is the encrypted password, is Cisco, but here is encrypted. And don't worry about this. This line can be detected as a encrypted password, and your line console password still will be Cisco. The same way with BTY password. Okay, and save this file with a new file name. You are on insert mode. Exit from insert mode and press escape key. Press escape key. And to save with a different name, use column, W to write space, and on the directory, specify the directory TFTP the user, and okay, the previous name was r1-run-conf. This new name can be router1-run-conf, where router1 is the new hostname. Enter. Very good. If your TFTP software has the option, use it to show the contents of its directory to verify that the file is present. Okay, exit from Vim editor, column, and Q with this character, okay, to force quit. Okay, column, Q to quit, and this exclamation mark to force. Enter. Very good. And list the /tftp user directory. And now you can see router1-run-conf and r1-run-conf. Okay, both files in this directory. Copy the modified running configuration file from the TFTP server to router R1. From the privileged exec mode on the router, enter copy TFTP running config command. Provide the remote host address of the TFTP server 192.168.169. Enter the new file name router1-run-conf. The exclamation mark indicates the transfer process is in progress and is successful. Okay, use this command and specify the IP address of the TFTP server and the new file name. Copy. Okay, enter. Password is console password is Cisco. Enable privilege exec. Password is class. And copy from TFTP server column to the running config. Okay, the source is the TFTP server and the destination the running config. Enter. The address or name of the TFTP server 192.168.168.169. Enter. Source file name. Use the new file name router1-run-conf. Case sensitive router1-run-conf. Enter. Destination file name by default is running config. Very good. Enter. And exclamation mark is very good. 1329 bytes copied. Very good. Okay, and enter. And after the transfer has completed, the prompt has changed from R1 to router 1. Okay, now is router 1. Before was R1 and then is router 1. Because the running configuration is updated with the hostname router1 command in the modified running configuration. Enter the show running config command to verify. Show running-config. Enter. Okay, the hostname is now router1. Enable secret passwords. Gigabit 01 configured. And line console password, BTY password. Very good. This procedure merges the running config from the TFTP server with the current running config in the switch or router. If changes were made to the current running config, the commands in the TFTP cockpit are added. Alternatively, if the same command is issued, it updates the corresponding command in the switch or router current running config. If you want to completely replace the current running config with one from the TFTP server, you must erase the switch or router startup config and reload the device. You will then need to configure the VLAN 1 or gigabit interface address so there is IP connectivity between the TFTP server and the switch or router. You use TFTP to backup and restore the router running configuration. Verify connectivity to router R1 from PCA. Okay, from PCA, ping to the router, ping 192.168.1.1. Success. If the pings are not successful, troubleshoot. Transfer the running configuration from router R1 to the TFTP server on PCA. From the privileged exec mode on R1, enter the copy running config to TFTP command. Provide the remote host address of the TFTP server, 192.168.169 in my case, and accept the default file name. Verify that the file has been transferred to the TFTP server. Okay, this is the router, and transfer again, copy running dash config, and the destination is TFTP column. Okay, TFTP server. Enter. IP address of the TFTP server 192.168.169, and accept the default file name. Okay, I will use this default file name. In this case, this default file name router1-confg. Okay, I will use that. Enter. And exclamation marks success. 1329 bytes copied. And verified on the server. List again, list slash TFTP user. And now you can see router1-confg. Okay, this new file, router1-confg. Restore the running configuration file to the router. Erase the startup config file on the router and reload the router. Okay, go to Terraterm and erase startup-config. Okay, enter. Very good, very good. Complete. Very good. Enter and reload. Enter. System configuration has been modified. Save. No. Enter. Proceed with reload. Confirm. Enter. Would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? No. Enter. Enter. Enable and verify the contents. Show running-config. Okay, the host name is router by default. No configurations on gigabit interface gigabit 01. No password on console. No configurations on this router, and configure gigabit 001 interface with an IP address 192.168.1.1. Configure terminal interface. In my case, it's only gigabit 01 and set the IP address 192.168.1.1 and subnet mask. Enable the interface with no shutdown command. Interface gigabit 01, change it, state to up, line protocol, up. Enter. Verify connectivity between the router and PCA, and okay, and okay, from the router ping the PCA IP address 13 success. Also, you can verify the ping to the TFTP server success. Use the copy command to transfer the running config file from the TFTP server to the router. Use the running config as the destination. Okay, for example, okay, copy the source is TFTP column and the destination running-config. Specify the IP address of the TFTP server 169. The source file name. Remember And this step, the file name was router1-conf-g. Okay, router1-conf-g, case sensitive. Destination file name, running config. Okay, this is the source and this is the destination file, running config. Very good, enter. Okay, exclamation mark, success. Okay, 1329 bytes copied. Enter. Verify. Show running configuration. Okay, hostname router1, enable secret password, gigabit interface configured, password online console, password on BTY, space. Backup and restore configurations using router flash memory. Current generation Cisco routers do not have internal flash memory. The flash memory for these routers uses compact flash CF memory. The use of compact flash memory allows for more available flash memory and easier upgrades without the need to open the router case. Besides storing the necessary files such as iOS images, the compact flash memory can store other files, such as a copy of the running configuration. In part 5, you will create a backup copy of the running configuration file and save it on the USB memory on the router. If the router does not use compact flash, the router may not have enough flash memory for storing the backup copy of running configuration file. You should still read through the instructions and become familiar with the commands. Display the router file system. The show file system command displays the available file systems on the router. The flash 0 file system is the default file system on this router as indicated by the asterisk at the beginning of the line. Okay, show file systems. Oh, sorry, show file system. Very good. Okay, this is the asterisk. This is flash 0 that is also flash. Okay, by default. The flash 0 file system can also be referenced using the name flash column. The total size of flash 0 is approximately 7 gigabytes with about 6 gigabytes available. Okay, you can see here the size is about 7 gigabytes and the available free space is about 6 gigabytes. In my case, the size of flash 0 is about 256 megabytes. Okay, the size is about 256 megabytes and the free available space is about 47 megabytes. Currently, Flash 0 and NVRAM are the only available file systems. Okay, Flash 0 available and NVRAM available. NVRAM size 262 kilobytes. Where is the startup config file located? The answer is on NVRAM, here on NVRAM. Verify there is at least 1 megabyte of free space. If there is not enough space in the flash memory, please contact your instructor for further instructions. You can determine the size of flash memory and space available using the show flash or dir flash command. Okay, this is the size and free space. Copy the router running configuration to flash. A file can be copied to flash by using the copy command at the privileged exec prompt. In this example, the file is copied into flash 0 because there is only one flash drive available as displayed in the previous step, and it is also the default file system. The R1 running config backup file is used as the file name for the backup running configuration file. Remember that file names are case sensitive in the iOS file system. Copy running config to flash. Copy running-config to flash column. Enter. Destination file name running config? No, I will specify a different R1-running config backup. Okay, enter. 1329 bytes copied. Use dir command to verify. Dir flash column. And you can see this is my file. Okay, size 1329 bytes. R1 config backup. Very good. Use the more command to view the running config file in flash memory. Examine the file output and scroll to the interface section. Notice the no shutdown command is not included with the gigabit 01. The interface is shut down when this file is used to update the running configuration on the router. Use more to read R1 running config backup file placed on flash memory. More flash column. Case sensitive R1 running config backup. Enter. Okay, you can see the configurations, the host name, the enable secret password space, and gigabit 01, no shutdown. No shutdown is not included. Okay, be careful with that space. Line console password, BTY password space. Erase the startup configuration and reload the router. Erase startup dash config. Enter to confirm and reload. Okay, enter and reload. System configurations has been modified. Save? No. Enter. Proceed with reload. Confirm. Would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? No. Enter. Enter. Enable show running config to verify. Okay. Hostname is the default hostname. No configurations on gigabit 01. No passwords. Restore the running configuration from flash. Verify the router has the default initial configurations. Okay. Default hostname, no class, no secret password, no configurations on interfaces, no passwords on lines. Copy the saved running config file from flash to update the running config. Okay, so the source will be the file R1 running config backup, place it on flash, and the destination, the running config. Before to do that, you can show the contents of the flash, dir flash column. You can see the file is present on flash, and copy flash is case sensitive R1 running config dash backup. The destination is running config. Okay, enter 1329 bytes copied. Okay, now the hostname is router1, but verify show running config. Hostname is router1, enable secret password, configuration on gigabit interface, but is shut down. Okay, the interface is shut down. And line console and line BTY passwords. Use the show IP interface brief command to view the status of interfaces. The interface gigabit 01 was not enabled when the running configuration was updated because it is administratively down. Show IP interface brief. And you can see interface gigabit 01 192.168.1 configured by TFTP administratively down. Okay, administratively down. The interface can be enabled using the no shutdown command. Configure terminal interface gigabit 01 no shutdown. Okay, very good. And another option is to add the no shutdown command for the gigabit 01 interface to the saved file before updating the router running configuration file. This will be done in part 5 using a saved file on a USB flash drive. Because IP address was not configured by using a file transfer, TFTP is listed under the method heading in the show IP interface brief output. Okay, the IP address using the method the TFTP server. So this IP address was configured when you transfer the file from TFTP server to the router. Use a USB drive to backup and restore the running configuration. A USB flash drive can be used to backup and restore files on a router with a available USB port. One USB port is available on the 4221 routers or 2911 routers. In my case, I'm using 2111 router. USB ports are not available on all routers, but you should still become familiar with the commands. Some ISR G1 routers 1841, 2801, 2811, 2911, 1941 use file allocation table (FAT) file system, which results in a maximum size limit for the USB flash drives that can be used in this part of the lab. The recommended maximum size for an ISR G1 is 4 GB. if you receive the following message, the file system on the USB flash drive may be incompatible with the router, or the capacity of the USB flash drive may have exceeded maximum size of the FAT file system on the router. USB flash for format. USB flash 0 contains unexpected values in partition table or boot sector. Device needs formatting before use. Insert a USB flash drive into a USB port on the router. Notice the message on the terminal when insert the USB flash drive. Device USB 0 added. Okay, enter and okay, and enter and verify that the USB flash file system is available. Show file systems. Show file systems. Okay, it's not detected. So I will insert another USB drive. Okay, insert on the PC to verify. Okay, this is the drive. Properties, file system FAT32, capacity about 4 gigabytes. Okay, and insert this on the router. USB flash 0 has been inserted. Enter. Show file system. USB flash 0 about 4 gigabytes and free space about 2 gigabytes. Copy the running configuration file to the USB flash drive. Okay, copy the source running config, the destination USB 0. Okay, in my case is USB flash 0. Okay, be careful with that, USB flash 0. Copy running config to USB flash 0 column. Okay, enter. Destination file name, use a different name. For example, R1 running config backup .txt. The extension is very useful. Okay, R1 dash running config dash backup .txt. R1 dash running dash config dash backup .txt. Okay, enter. 1329 bytes copied. Very good. List the file on the USB flash drive. Use dir command. Dir USB flash 0 column. Enter. Okay, this is my file. TXT extension. Erase startup config and reload the router. Erase startup-config. Enter to confirm. Then reload the router. System configuration has been modified. Save. No. Enter. Proceed to reload, enter to confirm. Would you like to enter initial configuration? No. Enter. Okay, enter. Enable show running config. Hostname is the default, no secret password, gigabit, no IP address, no passwords on lines. Modify the saved file, remove the USB from the router. Okay, USB flash 0 has been removed. Insert the USB into PC. This is the USB. And this is the file. R1 running config backup. Modify the file using a text editor. The no shutdown command is added to the gigabit 01 interface. Save the file as a plain text file on USB flash drive. Okay, open this. Look at this notepad, but use another like WordPad and modify this hostname router1, enable secret password. Okay, will be detected as encrypted password. This password is class, but will be detected as an encrypted password, so it still will be class. Gigabit 01 add the no shutdown command. Okay, line console password is Cisco and will be detected as an encrypted password, and still is Cisco, the same way with BTY password. And save. Okay, save. Close this. Remove the USB flash drive. Restore the running configuration file to the router. Insert the USB flash drive into a USB port on the router. Notice the port number where USB drive has been inserted if there is more than one USB port available on the router. USB flash 0 has been inserted. List the files. Dir USB 0, or in my case is dir USB flash 0 column. And this is the file r1 running config backup txt. Copy the running configuration file to the router. The source copy and the source is USB. This file in the USB and the destination is running config. Copy USB flash 0 column. The file is r1 case sensitive running config backup.txt, and the destination is running config. Okay. Be careful. Enter. Destination running config. Very good. Enter. Okay. 1441 bytes copied. Success. Enter. Gigabit 01 changed state to down. Gigabit 01 changed state to up. Line protocol interface gigabit 01 changed state to up. Enter. Now the hostname is router 1 and verify. Show running config. Router enable secret password. Gigabit 01 enable. Okay, gigabit 01 IP address is enabled. Line console MBTY passwords. Verify gigabit 01 is enabled. Show IP interface brief. Gigabit 01 192.168.1.1 status up, protocol up. Very good. The gigabit 01 interface is enabled because the modified running configuration included the no shutdown command. Reflection questions. What command do you use to copy a file from the flash to a USB drive? Copy. The source is flash. Column. You can specify a file name or not. And the destination USB flash 0 column. What command do you use to copy a file from USB flash drive to TFTP server? Copy USB flash 0 to TFTP column. Okay. You can specify a file name on flash or not. The TFTP is the destination, the TFTP server. Thank you very much.